Welcome back to the eighth episode of the Pitwall Pod, where we just wrapped up an electrifying weekend at Albert Park, and what a race it was to kick off the 2025 Formula One season. From unpredictable weather to intense wheel-to-wheel battles and strategic masterclasses, the Australian Grand Prix had it all. In this episode, we'll be breaking down every session, free practice, qualifying, and the race, analyzing what this means for the season ahead. Let's get into it. Free practice, early signs of a tight battle. The first race weekend of the year always brings a mix of excitement and uncertainty as teams and drivers finally get a real world test of their new machinery. FP1, McLaren hits the ground running. Under sunny Melbourne skies, McLaren made a statement right away with Lando Norris setting the fastest lap of the session. His former teammate Carlos Sainz, racing for Williams, followed closely behind in P2, signalling that the team had made serious strides over the winter. Charles Leclerc rounded out the top three for Ferrari, while Lewis Hamilton was struggling, finished in P12. P2, Ferrari strikes back. The second practice session saw a shift in the pecking order as Charles Leclerc went quickest, showing that Ferrari still had the raw pace to challenge for pole. McLaren wasn't far behind, with Norris in P3 and Piastri in P2. George Russell, leading the Mercedes charge, secured 10th, while Red Bull struggled a bit. Max Verstappen ended then at P7 and Liam Lawson in P17. FP3, McLaren back at the top. The final practice session saw a mix of long run simulations and low fuel laps, with McLaren Oscar Piastri topping the timesheet. McLaren and Red Bull remained strong and Ferrari ending with Leclerc in P4. However, Lewis Hamilton reported ongoing understeer problems, ending in P8. Qualifying, a McLaren front row lockout, with one lap pace being more crucial than ever in a tight midfield. Saturday's qualifying session delivered plenty of surprises. Q1 early exits for big names. The first session saw a few shocked eliminations. Esteban Ocon, now driving for Haas, couldn't extract enough from his car and was knocked out early. Similarly, Haas teammate Oliver Bearman and Mercedes rookie Kimi Antonelli found themselves out in Q1, struggling with the track's demanding corners, and Oliver Bearman had a gear problem and didn't set on time. Q2 drama at Ferrari and a surprise from Williams. The second session brought some unexpected twists. Alex Albon, showing impressive pace in his Williams, stormed into Q3 with the last gas lap that put him in the top five. Meanwhile, Ferrari found themselves in trouble again. Lewis Hamilton had a spin. The Red Bull of Verstappen, both McLarens, and the Mercedes of Russell had made it through comfortably, while both Aston Martins of Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll just missed out on the final shootout. The two Ferraris were lucky they got through to Q3. Q3, Norris clinches pole in dramatic fashion. In the final shootout, Lando Norris delivered a stunning lap to take pole position, marking a huge step forward for McLaren. Oscar Piastri ensured a McLaren front row lockout, thrilling the home crowd. Max Verstappen lined up third, just 0.1 seconds behind, with George Russell in P4 for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton, still struggling with his Ferrari's handling, could only manage P8 and Charles Leclerc P7. The qualifying top 10 results: first place, Lando Norris for McLaren; second, Oscar Piastri, McLaren; Third, Max Verstappen for Red Bull. Fourth, George Russell for Mercedes. Fifth, Yuki Tsunoda for Racing Bulls. Sixth, Alex Albon for Williams. Seventh, Charles Leclerc for Ferrari. Eighth, Lewis Hamilton for Ferrari. Ninth, Pierre Gasly for Alpine. And 10, Carlos Sainz for Williams. Race day chaos, strategy, and a surprise winner. If qualifying was a statement, the race was an all-out battle. Changing weather conditions and strategy gambles led to one of the most unpredictable season openers in the years. Pre-race drama. Hadjar crashes on the formation lap. Before the race even started, rookie Isaac Hadjar crashed during the formation lap, forcing an aborted start. This led to a slight delay and put Racing Bulls on the back foot immediately. Lights out, McLaren leads but Red Bull attacks. As the race began, both McLarens got off the line well, with Norris leading Piastri into turn 1. Verstappen, however, had a blistering start and was side by side with Piastri into turn 3. That takes Max Verstappen in P2 and Piastri in P3. Charles Leclerc had also a good start, getting in front of Alex Albon and Yuki Tsunoda. Lap 1, safety cars shake things up. The race was turned on its head when Jack Doohan for Alpine and Carlos Sainz for Williams crashed on lap 1, bringing out an early safety car. This led to differing strategies calls, leading to a long safety car and going through the pit lane. The two cars that started in the pit lane, Liam Lawson and Oliver Bearman, has changed tires. Mid-race chaos. As the race continued, things got even more chaotic. We had a mix of wet and dry conditions, and that made pit strategy absolutely crucial. Some teams made bold calls, like McLaren, who nailed their strategy and managed to get both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri in the right place at the right time. But unfortunately for Piastri, his race came to a premature end when he slid off the track on lap 44. Charles Leclerc had a spin that dropped him down the grid, but he quickly was back at P5. Lewis Hamilton briefly had the lead but came back into the pit to change back to intermediate tires. Final laps, a defensive masterclass from Norris. With just a handful of laps remaining, a late race safety car caused by Gabriel Bortoletta's crash and Liam Lawson crash set up a sprint to the finish. Verstappen haunted Norris but couldn't find a way past, and as the McLaren driver held his nerve to take his fifth Formula One victory and the first of this season. The final race results: the winner Lando Norris, McLaren; second, Max Verstappen for Red Bull; third, George Russell for Mercedes; fifth, Kimi Antonelli for Mercedes; fourth, Kimi Antonelli for Mercedes; fifth, Alex Albon for Williams; sixth, Lance Stroll for Aston Martin; seventh, Nico Hülkenberg for Sauber; eighth, Charles Leclerc for Ferrari; ninth, Oscar Piastri for McLaren; and 10th, Lewis Hamilton for Ferrari. Championship standings after round 1. After his stunning victory, Lando Norris leads the championship with 25 points, followed by Verstappen and Russell. McLaren takes the lead in the constructors together with Mercedes with 27 points, while Ferrari faces an uphill battle to recover from their disappointing start. Looking ahead, the Chinese Grand Prix. With Melbourne behind us, the F1 circus now heads to Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. While McLaren continue their strong form, can Ferrari recover, and how will Mercedes fare on a more traditional circuit? We'll find out soon. That's all for this episode of the Pitwall Pod. Be sure to follow us for more race reviews, analyses, and behind the scenes insights. See you after China. Bye.